Welcome, Dreams and Day Jobs, where we talk about dreams and your day jobs and everything in between. We're here to help you guys grow. We're here to help you guys grow. I'm one of your hosts, Travis, with my guy right here, bro.
You already know what it is. I'm Jeff. Episode 22, Dreams and Day Jobs. It's funny, like you were saying upstairs before we get into it. Like, I just wanted to say, upstairs you were like, you know, when things become habit, it's like you don't even really, it's like autopilot. So we just been doing this week after week, and it's like, 22 episodes deep is like pretty cool, Yeah. Just wanted to say that.
That's so true, bro. I love that. That's the best part about forming habits. You form a habit, whether it's good or bad, they're hard to let go. So habits work the same ways, whether it's a bad habit or if it's a good habit. They're hard to let go. Hard to start and hard to get rid of. So if you form good habits, it's such a great benefit, but we also know the dark side of that. You form some bad habits, also hard to stop it.
100%.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
So what do you got?
All right. Well, a few things. It's so funny, bro. I started like making some points down, and it was about gratitude. And then I realized the last episode was about gratitude. Yeah. But that's the thing, guys, because a lot of these things are going to sound repetitive because there's only some core elements, in my opinion, when it comes to working at a dream and having a day job in between, because there's only so many foundational things like, our discipline, persistence, gratitude, giving back, respect. All these things are like foundational things of being a good person. So I wrote like some nice 3 questions down for gratitude. Doesn't apply right now, but I kind of wanted to go into this it's in the same realm of things, starting something new. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's a great topic for right now. So first question was, when starting something new, because we all know about, usually we have fears of starting new, but with that being said, let's start it off easy and start a foundation, right? So when you're starting something new, how do you first become aware that you want to start something new, right? So what causes that?
Okay.
Let's start there.
All right, so I'm gonna go, and then you can give your answer.
That's cool. Yeah.
I think in general, a couple things that come to my mind when you say that is curiosity, maybe sparked from boredom or comfort in getting, just wanting more out of yourself. I think for me, that's what kind of sparks something new in terms of like money making options or something new, and like maybe things feel redundant and mundane, and just being curious about like pushing yourself. For me, like so it's like I want to start learning new ways to make money, and that starting something new and those ideas pop into my mind. Those are sparked from just like not having enough money and wanting more freedom of my time and wanting to see my full potential and being able to maybe buy nicer things or be able to go here or take care of this person, or just so wanting more. But I think the ultimate driver of that is probably just being curious of my own potential and just not being happy with where I'm at. Not being happy, go back to the gratitude thing, like definitely grateful, but just being more curious about my own potential. That's for me.
Yeah.
So what about you?
I like that. Well, I'm staying on you for a second. I like 2 things that I caught from that. First, curiosity, and I have a question about that for you. Curiosity. I thought that was a really interesting thing to first say. And second, which is just a point, because I understand, I've thought about this lately too. I think you could be grateful, but also unhappy. And I don't think it's a bad thing. It's like you're grateful for your life, you're grateful for your opportunities you have, but since you want more, you're not happy doing those things. So, I mean, yeah, and I don't know if that's true, but I know that it's a true feeling, at least for me. Like, I'm grateful for the stuff that I'm able to go do, but they don't necessarily make me happy in that realm of things like potential and curiosity. So I think one of the best things I like that you said was curiosity. So what do you think sparks that curiosity?
I think one thing that makes me, I think something that sparks curiosity for me, one, nowadays we have social media. So it's like you see a bunch of dudes or, a bunch of people doing things and you're like, man, like I think I could do that. Like, oh, this person's doing it. Like,
Definitely.
I could do that too. Like, why is this person able to do that and I can't? Could I do that? Yeah, I think I could. So so being on social media and seeing other people,
So exposure.
yeah, yeah, or just yeah, because I think that's a huge thing. When you see other people doing things, it kind of makes you think, all right, well, that person's doing this and making this and lives here and drives this or is able to go do this and or pay for this. And I'm over here doing this. I mean, he's no different. Like, how is he different than me? Why can't I, It's almost like when, nobody was able to run the it was impossible. The 4 minute mile was impossible.
Yeah.
And then as soon as someone did it, it was like, all right, well, this dude did it. Like, why can't I do it? And then more people started to do it. So I think it's just, if we didn't have exposure to other people doing other things, maybe we wouldn't be curious,
I was just
maybe we would,
that.
maybe we would,
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we would by chance to just be curious to see, think about people who invented like the plane or like, just at some point people are curious about ideas, but I think for the majority of people, myself included, curiosity comes from the exposure of seeing other people doing things. So for me personally,
Yeah, that brings up a good point about social media now. Because from how I just interpreted that was social media is killing creativity. Because some of the best ways, like I definitely experience this with music. There's times that you're influenced by music and you want to make something in that genre, something similar. And you go and do that and you make like a knockoff version of that. Instead of saying, you know what? I like the tempo. I like the tempo because it really comes down to the timing when it comes to beats, right? It's the timing. It beats, what you're setting that timing at. And I'm just going to let myself be. And that's when for me, I make the best beats. And that's really what I hone in doing now. Like I don't really listen to music but I have my favorites and things I listen to, but they really haven't influenced my beat making in a sense. Sometimes I'll hear something I'm like, yeah, I got to make something like that. Yeah. But I always remember to just let it spark creativity, but don't let it be the creative force. Like you have the creative force in you. So you doing that. So that's interesting that you say that about social media. And I think that's something you guys should definitely be very careful of when it comes to finding yourself in a sense. Like if I were to, cause I definitely agree with you where I've seen things and it's exposed me to, I've seen things on social media that have opened up the possibility for me to do something because I've seen somebody else doing it. So that's what you first are curious. And then through social media, you look through that curiosity and now they're feeding you things that you're interested in. So now you're seeing someone do something that sparks the belief, the possibility for you to do it, which I don't think is a bad thing for me personally. It definitely is like a part, it's like, don't get too hooked in on it. Like, okay, you just got the idea from something else. Like nothing is brand new. Things are always constantly copying each other, but there's there's a line to shut off there. You can't be too much like this person, too much doing exactly what they're doing. Like take it as the idea.
You gotta have your own identity
and be you. And be you. Yeah. But I definitely see where people can get lost in that because all of a sudden you spark that curiosity and now that curiosity has to spark belief in yourself. Because if it doesn't, then you just are constantly comparing to other people and you want it, but you don't want it. You don't believe that you can do it. So you don't make any movement towards it. So that's interesting.
Well, that's a huge thing. Well, I mean, I think believing in yourself is a huge thing,
I would say it's tough. And I think maybe you could definitely find that from like almost like living life. Like I think about it as like music. Like I literally went to don't even know, bro. It was weird. Like, I was in Aruba at the time. This is years. I think I've been doing music since 2015. So maybe almost on 10 years. So it's like, but me and Ryan went to a couple of concerts, and that did it. Like, seeing house music, seeing the DJ, seeing it for a second. And I think that it's like the social media, like you get curious about it. Like, yo, I would like to do that. I'd like to learn how to make music. And then it was like, boom, you know, but it wasn't, and then you just dove deeper into it. Like, I figured out how to do it. Like, what do I need? Okay. Then you go from there. So I like that in the sense of such a good point that you brought up, like your curiosity, where you go to research for that can ultimately spark your belief in yourself. You know?
Yeah, and I think it will, and yes, I think some people can definitely just have that innate belief in themselves, which is cool, you know?
I'm not saying that because I don't even think you can do that.
So
like, think about, something has to inspire you. Something. Like, you have to be exposed to something.
Yes,
to then,
yes, but I was going to go further. I think the belief in yourself becomes greater the more you take the action on the thing.
Oh yeah.
Right? They say, they say confidence comes from competence. So, if a mainstream artist, contacted you and said, "Hey, listen, I need you to make this beat for me," or give me, I need you to take a day and make 5 beats that I can listen to and pick from, because you've spent the 10 years beat making, like, oh, I got you. No,
Yeah,
you only want 5? I get, you know what I mean? Like, but if you were a week into it and, somebody called you, you might not believe in yourself that you could deliver because of you just haven't done it enough.
True.
Yeah.
The power of the reps in that.
Brandon Carter says, I've heard him say, he says, confidence without, it's like being confidence without competence is like delusion.
It is. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, he says, he's like, man, he's like, I ain't about to try to do my own plumbing when I ain't never plumbed before.
Yeah.
For me to think that I'm confident to do my own plumbing is delusional, because I ain't never plumbed before.
You don't have enough math behind it.
Exactly.
You haven't counted enough reps to then make that even possible. You know? That's a good point. So I like how you said that, curiosity, bro.
For you to answer the first question, you would think what sparks? Where do you think that spark comes from? You're saying would you agree, curiosity?
Yeah, I would have to agree with curiosity, bro. I would have to. As I was asking you those questions, I was almost like, because since you said certain things, I'm like, he's basically saying my exact answer in more of depth, because I wouldn't have said curiosity. I think that's super important, because how do you really know what you like if you're never exposed to it? You know what I'm saying? Like, the why I want certain things, because I've been exposed to them.
Yeah.
And now I want them, and not materialistic things. Like, people say, like, yo, you've never been in a Lamborghini. Why do you want a Lamborghini? I necessarily don't. I've been exposed and saw them. I definitely like the look of them, and that's enough for me to buy it. I don't really care about the engine. The look is everything. Yeah. Like, looks fire. Yeah. Cool. I could care if it went 15 miles per hour. Like, that's the nicest, slowest car I've ever seen.
Before you go to the next question that you have, let me ask you something. What do you think, for you personally, what do you think was something that you can say, like, when you talk about starting something new in your life, what's the most recent thing, or something that you could remember in your life, something that was completely new that you had to start? And how did you feel about that? What was the feeling around that?
I definitely feel the same way about everything. Because think about your life, everything you do at one point was new. So when you look at all the feelings, they're very similar. You have fear at first, and then you have to conquer that fear with belief. And through the belief, you trump out the fear, but that belief now has to be strong enough for you to now continue to grow and learn. And that's why it's great to, like, be in sports. Even if you suck, you still are showing up. You're still becoming a better athlete. Yeah. Like you said before, you'll be the best rain dancer, even if the rain don't come. Yeah. You'll be your good dancing skills are going to be on point, but you know what I'm saying? But so definitely it's that. So it's first fear, next it's belief, then it's action. And through that, a new skill is born after countless years and months and days and hours and minutes doing it. Then boom, that's truly how it is. It's the same with everything, it really is. There's no real difference in the sense of like, if you're competent to do the new thing that you're doing, and anybody is, as long as they're willing to learn.
Yeah.
If you're willing to learn, you'll catch on, bro. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to learn, like, what can you really expect? So that's for sure.
Instantly, when you were just like talking about like if you're competent, and I'm thinking to myself like with cutting hair, like you hear I've heard people say to me like, oh, like you fake it till you make it. You got to be confident. I'm like, dude, like what? Like you can't be like, that's why like I don't really agree a lot of times with fake it till you make it. Like there's certain things that you can't fake, so it's like you can only the only way around it is through it. You know what I mean? Meaning like you just have to do it. So like even for me personally, dude, I'm just going from like starting off doing haircuts, like getting behind the chair and being like, you want your hair to look like this picture? Like how do I do that? Like what if like, it's nerve wracking, dude,
Yeah, definitely.
But then as you just kind of just dive in and start and do it again 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 and do it again, that skill in addition to your confidence grows, so like, yeah, I'm just saying when you said that, that's what made me think
Back
of it.
to that
Like,
fake it if you make it, because I like that point. I think after I say this, you'll agree, but I agree with what you're saying too, in the sense of like, you can't be delusional. Like you can't just fake it, because it's a bad phrase, but I understand where they're saying it. It's almost like dress for the job that you want to have. So by you dressing that way, it's just it's a subconscious thing to do, because like that fake it till you make it comes in believe it in yourself. That's really what that means. It doesn't mean like fake your job. It means believe in yourself, because through that, you're not faking. That's why it's weird to use that word faking it, but it makes sense. Like I'll put it like real estate. Like I haven't done a bunch of transactions, but when I go in there, I do my homework. I know what I'm talking about. I know things I don't know. And I'm willing to be at that point where I say, never heard of that. I went to a showing. I'd never heard of super keys. They're like these electric lock boxes. I should have, because I'm like tech guy, but I haven't used them. I use combos. I have one. So I got to this lifting. I go, what's a super key? I'm looking at this thing like, I don't know how I'm gonna open this door. Yeah. I'm looking at what it is. I saw super on it. I'm hitting Google real quick. I'm hitting ChatGPT, sending me somewhere. Okay. I'm like, okay, listen, we'll get this. We'll get this open. Then I realized I needed the subscription.
yeah.
Thank God, man, it all just worked out. But at the end of the day, it's just like, even if I couldn't get them in the house, I would say, listen, I apologize. I didn't know about this key. I am newer to the industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to fake everything. I'm not going to be like, oh, sorry, guys, just lock it. I'm not going to lie to them. I'm going to be like, yo, this is my fault. Yeah. Completely fine with. And if this causes you to not work with me anymore, bye-bye. You ain't going to be my last client. So I don't really care. Yeah.
It's a learning lesson. Yeah, I mean, you learn from that.
You only learn in the field, bro. Like exactly. They can only tell you so much of anything that you get into. Yeah. So you only learn when you're diving into it. Lauren just said that on a thing, and everybody, you've heard it before. She's like, people ask me for help, and do I have coaching? It's like, yeah, I have coaching, but like, and yeah, I help people, but like, you only learn when you're in the game. And that's the truth, because no one could give you everything.
Your trainer can't work out for you, bro.
No, and nor is he going to be able to tell, like, when you have, like, something going on with your leg and what's the best thing for you to do for it. Yeah. You're not going to know that stuff until you get hurt or you go through something, So I like what you were saying about that. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
What was another question that you had?
Well, so we went over, guys, getting started. So starting something new. And, we've kind of covered some other things we talked about, but the second question I was going to say, we've kind of talked about that. I was going to say, what would be, in your first steps of things, like where do you start when it comes to starting something new? Because I feel like the start part is really important. So maybe we could dive deeper into that. So when it comes to starting something new, boom, you got the curiosity. I'm going to do this. You believe in yourself. Now you're going to do it. Now what?
Okay. This is all right. So I would try to. All right, so I'm gonna kind of go. I'm gonna tell a little the story that happened yesterday, and I feel like if I was gonna go tell my younger self,
Yeah.
this is, and it relates to me now, but if I was gonna start something new, and this is what I told, I had this girl in my chair yesterday. I was cutting her hair, and she was like freshman in college. She's in college. She's going to school. I think she was going to school for like fashion or something. She's like, yeah, I don't really know. Like, I kind of like this. Like, I kind of like this side of it. I kind of like the marketing. I'm not sure if I want to do this part or that part, but I'm in school for fashion. And she's like, I'm not really sure. And I said, let me give you a little piece of advice, if I may, because I'm twice your age and
Yeah,
I've lived it, not to say I'm in the fashion industry, but I told her this.
Do you understand?
And this is probably what I would do and kind of what I do now if I'm trying to start something new, whether I use the internet or whatever resource. I said to her, if I was you, no joke. I said, you could listen to me. You could not, you could think I'm crazy, whatever. I said, but if I was you and I was a freshman in college and I was curious about different jobs, I would go home. I told her this. I said, if I was you, I'd go home and I'd take a piece of paper. I'd write down every single job title or position that I think I would be interested in doing. You have 3 whole years of college left, so you're going to be in school no matter what. I said, but as of now, you have some time. I would make a list of each job that you think you'd want to do. I would look up some major companies in the field that you want to be in, and I would find the person doing the job that you think you might be interested in, and I would shoot them a DM, an email, call, and offer to go for a week and assist them, learn, or work for them for free to get an inside look. Literally, that's what you know what I mean?
Bro.
And then you can get a little glimpse of somebody actually doing it.
Yep.
So that's when you talk about starting something new. Like, I invested in a course and I know of different people doing it, but I went with the person that like I can relate to. I look at their lifestyle and say, wow, I could see myself in that, yeah, doing that, living that lifestyle. I relate to him. I would like to be where he's at. I like what he does. I like how he lives his life. This is, you know what I mean? So I told her, I said, that way, I said, that way when in 3 years, when you're out of college, I said to her, you're going to be like, oh man, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I want to do, this and that. I said, but you better be doing this now.
Yep.
So you go through school, but now you know what you want to do. Now you know what you don't like, So
that's great.
That's what I would say to anybody out there that's in a position that's younger and they're not sure what they want. So and then she was like, you know what, you're right. Will she do it? Probably not.
I wish someone would have told me that.
If she but at that young, I think she was like 18. But it's hard to just be like to have that drive. I didn't have the drive at 18 that I do now. But that's what I would do.
They listen though.
Yeah.
They listen because they see it's possible. And they're eager for answers and advice to help them get there quicker.
Yeah.
Where we grew up, like kind of no internet to now later in our lives, full internet. At our 18, dude, I was looking up to like people I saw on TV and they didn't show me that much, So there wasn't that many like, imagine being like, I think about it, bro, I'm telling you, the first time I got on Instagram, I was late to Facebook. I was late to Instagram. And I'm sorry, we probably gotta wrap this up soon, bro.
It's all good.
I was late to Facebook. I was late to Instagram. By the time I got on Instagram, Facebook had been very different than Instagram at the time. They were not, at these times, platforms were not copying each other. They had their own identity. When I got onto Instagram, and I went into the search bar and I put in The Rock, went to his page, and saw the message button. I said, you tell me right now, I could message The Rock?
Yeah.
I could message The Rock right now? We grew up where we used to go on Pirate Bay and like E-Bombs World and leak Vin Diesel's phone number.
Yeah.
And get his inbox and people were leaving, we would prank call him and stuff like that, do like messages and he changed it. Yeah. But there was a website where it dropped these celebrities' And now it's like, bro, you can message. So their belief, they're not limited, bro. Like we're seeing it. Like I think maybe like 10 years down the line, this might get a spoiled mentality. You grew up with it. You've seen generations use it. Seen so many people waste it that you're kind of like, whatever. You know, like yeah, I still meet young kids now, and they're like, bro, I'm not on any of that stuff. And I'm like, see, it hasn't fully hit. This kid's 15 years old and he's not into social media. I'm not saying that's not a bad thing, but I don't know. I feel like the internet does it. It exposes so much that you really can go down a rabbit hole of belief.
Yeah.
Like I could pick someone that I love and then I watch everything they're doing and I see what they're doing. Then they're giving me advice and they're helping me throughout. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That's like Walter Payton coming back from the dead and having a YouTube channel and talking all football players, bro. You kidding me? I used to watch repeated videos of their footage.
Yeah.
Over and over, same game. Nothing now, dude. You got people doing training. NFL players doing online training. You go in their camp. Like what?
So that's what I would. Yeah. So if you're starting something new, I would somehow find who's doing that thing and who's the best at it
and hit it.
And I would just try to learn from them.
That's great.
You know, that's what I would do. Ty Lopez says find mentors. Like that's
find mentors,
you know what I mean?
Bro.
That's
we're
what
in
it
the
is.
age of them right now. Yeah. You know, like you can really hone in on someone wanting to do what you do. You know,
and a mentor. But that he also says this in I was watching this talk by him. He was saying he goes find mentors, but he goes there's a difference between like a mentor and like a teacher. So mentor doesn't necessarily mean like a teacher, you know. A teacher who's teaching business that's never owned a business.
Yeah.
A mentor meaning like somebody who's has done the thing that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, find somebody who's been through it, made the mistakes. You know, so that's why you know.
Huge,
like for me, like at my job, like my boss has been, like I said, he's been cutting hair for like 40 years.
Mm.
So he's done it. He's owned the salon. He's made mistakes. He's doing it. So like to me, like that's a mentor. I work out with an IFBB pro bodybuilder.
Right.
He's done it. He's put the years in. He knows. He's made the mistakes. He's been around the block. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know.
Huge, man. Huge.
Try to find mentors.
Love that.
That's what I would say, starting something new.
Yeah.
But
so find mentors. So start with what's going to spark your curiosity. Then dive into exposure of that.
Yeah. And what sparks curiosity. And what also I told this girl too is I was just like, you got to try. I said, you don't know what you like or not because you haven't tried. Like you need to try things, you know, you need to try things before it's too late and you get too old. You know, once you get, the older we get, the more set in our ways we get.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, which I don't know. Doesn't necessarily always mean a bad thing, but
depends on what you're going to want to go after, right? It's just like,
I know at 36 years old, I'm set in my ways with a lot of things. You know, I'm simple. Like I'm a simple dude. I'm a minimalist. I don't need much. I don't need to go out. I don't need to be here. I don't need to see, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of set in my ways. But had I, you know, if I was a little bit younger and tried different things, maybe I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that like,
you do. You definitely do. I agree with that.
Or maybe you get in a situation where you get someone pregnant, or you have a situation where you don't have as much opportunity, so you can't try new things.
Yeah. You could be a loser, or you could step up to the plate, you know?
Yeah.
You could be a loser, you know? You could be a freaking loser and not set up, and that's how it sounds like, you know? Like, you get set in your ways at a long age. It's like, well, don't be angry later on because you didn't try anything. And now you're old trying to do it. So good luck trying to be Mr. KFC and start your business at 74. Most people don't want to do that at 74. That's some different type of strength.
But it also is, you know, it's not, you know, in a sense. Yeah, this is a crazy, this could be totally up, but I'm almost positive it was like Warren Buffett didn't become like super successful until he was like 51.
Yeah, well,
KFC wasn't until like, 68 or something like that.
The average millionaire age is 47, 48. So these young, people think all these people are so old, young, bro. It only takes 400,000 to be in the 1%er. So people thinking, they need to make all these millions of dollars.
It might be a little higher now, but
it's like 450 or 450. It's like you know, but still, it's, you know, you make that much money, 250,000, 150,000. I don't know. It depends on your means, bro. But dude, good episode though, man. Good episode. I'm sorry, guys. Short. I gotta get going on something, but. That's why
22 in the books.
G.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Peace.
All right. That's what's up.